Welcome back everyone. Sky News' Mark Austin has done an incredible job reporting on the Israel-Palestine situation. He's joined with the evil David Mencer discussing the starvation crisis. Mark challenging David on a number of aspects, but the disappointment and lack of patience even on Mark's face is telling. Let's take a look.
Why don't you provide security then for the UN to get those supplies into Gaza? You can't say, here's the point, you can't say on the one hand that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is now distributing the aid in Gaza, and then when it's a disaster with up to 1,000 people shot dead, you start blaming the UN. You start blaming the UN for causing hunger. I mean, it's simply nonsense.
The media shows pictures of hungry people, but won't say the words that matter. Hamas stole their food. Hamas caused their suffering. Hamas turned charity into a billion-dollar racket. Just like mafia, they steal the aid, they sell it on the black market, and they're hoarding it for their own terrorist fighters, recruiting killers with that money. So when we have disrupted that pipeline of theft, Hamas saw Israel as a threat to their business model, not their people's salvation. So we've attacked the terrorists while Hamas put civilians in harm's way.
Who is being shot dead? Who is being shot dead? Who is being shot dead when people go to get the food?
Points the finger at Israel instead of the killers. Mark, the tragedy in Gaza is Hamas's doing. They're behind these civilian deaths. They weaponize schools, hospitals, and they run a billion-dollar aid racket.
Right. Answer me this. Answer me this. Answer me this.
Bogus Hamas numbers. You show the carnage, but you never say the words that matter. Hamas is responsible.
Right. Answer me this. Answer me this. Who is being shot at the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation delivery system, distribution system? Who is being shot there? Are you saying 1,000 Hamas terrorists are being shot there? Because that's not the evidence we're getting. You say, why can't you help the UN with all the security they need to distribute the aid that is waiting at the border and use crowd control measures which are not shooting people dead? How about that?
My gosh, Mark, aren't you a clever man for coming up with these great aid distribution? Just share with me your qualifications for dealing with Gazans exactly. Was it in the newsroom at Sky News when you repeat Hamas talking points?
It's not a Hamas talking point.
Let's get real for a second.
It's not a Hamas talking point.
Hamas designed this war. They designed this killing. They wanted their own people to get shot. They fire at us from crowds. They kill their own people.
This piece of lard needs to be stopped. I am shocked and appalled that these terrorists are not only being allowed to commit genocide freely, but openly allowed to come on national television and spread their crap to the rest of the world. There's zero accountability for any of their actions and for any of the innocent lives this terrorist bloodthirsty state has viciously taken. This piece of lard has said Hamas stole their food. Impossible. It makes no logical sense, and then sells it on the black market. There's no food, water or electricity, and you think the innocent people of Palestine are buying the food from Hamas on some shady website? When are the real terrorists going to be apprehended?
I'll tell you how it works. You're paid to answer the questions. I'm paid to ask them. Let me ask you another one. It's not just killing civilians in food queues, is it? It's not just the malnutrition. There's something else going on, which is the levelling of Gaza, the destruction of much residential property and infrastructure in Gaza. Why are you doing that? Because the mapping analysis shows now 92% of residential homes in Gaza are destroyed. Why is that happening?
This was a war which Hamas designed, Mark. They designed it this way, specifically to cause as much damage to their own people as possible. Now, from Israel's point of view, we regard any harm to civilians as a tragedy. While this terrorist organization of Hamas, it is their strategy. They have designed this war to harm their own people. They systematically violate international law. They endanger innocent people, and they use them as human shields. And they can rely on Sky as night follows day to repeat the rhetoric. Israel, by contrast, makes every effort to prevent and minimize as much as possible harm to civilian population, including evacuating civilians from combat areas. Hamas and other terrorist organizations in Gaza, they actually work to maximize harm.
Here's the point. Here's the point. All this deflection. Here's the point. Because this destruction of residential homes, 92% of Gaza, when that is coupled with your defense minister's plan to put 600,000 Palestinians in a camp they cannot leave unless they want to emigrate, it looks to many people not only outside Israel, but also inside, as ethnic cleansing?
Look, we've got very clear objectives in this war. Israel will always act within international humanitarian law. That word is offensive, to be blunt.
Well,
Israel is trying to defeat the terrorist organization and
what
free
is the plan then?
Gaza,
What is the plan
free
for
Gaza
the population of
from
Gaza going
Hamas.
forward? What is the plan for the population of Gaza going forward then? If it's not the plan set out by your defense minister and endorsed the other day by your prime minister?
No, there's a number of plans on the table, and none of them have been taken off the table. All options are open to us. The first
So that
thing
plan is still on the table. That plan is still on the table.
Mark, the first thing is we need to destroy this terrorist organization and get our hostages back. Yes, Mark, you haven't said that word. Our hostages. 20 of them are still alive. If Hamas released our hostages, lay down its arms, this conflict will be over in an instant. That maybe would upset you because that would mean the end of Hamas. But that is the future. That is the future. That is the good future for Gazans. It is a Gaza free from a terrorist organization. As for the future,
point. Let me just make a last point. Last point. If you are denying all what we say about starvation, what we say about the destruction in Gaza, what we say about the plan that is intended, why don't you let foreign journalists in? Why don't you allow us unfettered, unrestricted access to Gaza, as we get in most other war zones that I've been to, and many of the correspondents here have been to? Why are you not doing that?
I'm just wondering if you ever get tired of this this line of questioning. Firstly, listen to me, Mark. Listen to me. Firstly, because there's no shortage of these images coming out of Gaza. You see them all the time. So what is this nonsense? We are focused on getting our hostages out.
But you just told me it's all propaganda. You just told me it's all propaganda. Literally just told me that.
Hostages out. Why aren't you raising the plight of our hostages during this interview?
Unbelievable on another level. Well done, Mark. It's not easy talking to a terrorist. He raised great points. 92% of residential homes destroyed. I'm appalled the world leaders have sat back and did nothing and watched as innocent men, women and children were destroyed. The Arab countries, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Shame on you. David mentioned all the plans are on the table but wouldn't give us one. But we're not stupid, we know what the plans are. One of them is moving 600,000 people into a concentration camp and not allowing them to leave. 2, focus the world media on the starvation crisis whilst it destroys what's left of Gaza. 3, drive them out of the lands. And 4, which is Trump's plan of building a Riviera, creating new homes and jobs. Sick, sick world we live in. Shame on the Arab states. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Support me by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.